subsidy arrears from the National Health Insurance Authority for medicines supplied to hospitals across the country. The association is asking the NHIA to speed up processing of their 13-month claim arrears and said that it wants those monies paid before it will go ahead to dispense medicine or supply medicine to any other facility. On the education front, the Director General of the Ghana Education Service has asked chief directors whose promotion letters are yet to be signed to give him 3 days. Jacob Cole, who spoke to our reporter Daniel Opoku, said the delay in signing the promotion letters was to avert salary arrears payment. He's assuring teachers that whatever is owed them will be paid. And of course, if you're watching us from Navrongo in the Upper East region, if you are with us from Accra here, and if you're watching us from Koforidua in the Eastern region, you're live on TV3 and you're listening to us on 3FM 92.7. My name is Bright Nana Amfo. This is News at 10. Let's start with the big one. We're starting from here in Accra. The Speaker of Parliament, Professor Mike Ronokwe, has forgiven the Boku Central Member of Parliament, Mahama Yarga, for perpetrating falsehood through his bribery allegations on Parliament. In a more than 10-minute worded verdict, the Speaker cautioned the MP to go and say no more. Meanwhile, he has pleaded with the MPs, or the MP for Aswase Muntaka Mubarak and the First Deputy Speaker, Joe Osewusu, to forgive the Boku Central MP.
I'll ask the Honorable Ayariga, who had written an unqualified apology to the House, to please read same at this juncture.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to paragraph 141 of the report of your committee, I render an unqualified apology to this August Parliament. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me another opportunity.
Honorable Ayariga, I'll ask you to read your own letter dated 3rd April 2017. If you have not got a copy, I'll let the table office give same to you to read out.
Mr. Speaker, I recall that there were a series of communications, and so I am not clear which letter.
Honorable Ayariga, that is why I'm about to give it to you. Order.
I didn't have a copy, that was why. But let me read it so that honorable members who are listening will see if there's a difference between what I said and what is written. So it says, apology pursuant to the recommendations of the Special Ad Hoc Committee of Parliament. And it says, pursuant to paragraph 141 of the report of the Special Committee to investigate the bribery allegation and the decision of this Honourable House adopting the report, I hereby render an unqualified apology to this Honourable House of Parliament. Thank you.
Subpart 2 of our standing orders, headed Contempt of Parliament or Breach of Privileges, captures this as well. Any act or omission which affronts the dignity of Parliament or which tends either directly or indirectly to bring the name of Parliament into dispute is contempt. In all the circumstances of this case, I have come to the conclusion that the Honourable Ayariga should be shown the quality of mercy on this occasion. May he go and sin no more. He is warned never to peddle such expensive rumors anymore in his affairs in this House. I must extend a warning to some 4 or 5 honorable members who deem it proper to make untoward noise, apparently in support of Honorable Ayariga, regarding the conduct for which the Honorable Ayariga has now apologized. I trust the Honorable First Deputy Speaker, the Honorable Muntaka, and the entire House will forgive and put this matter to rest. Thank you, honorable members.
So Parliament early in the day and just around this evening put to rest that controversial issue of bribery. The Speaker asking Mahama Ayariga to apologize. The apology accepted. That's put a closure to that issue. We'll see what will be the fallout, and we'll tell you more about that as and when we come in. But let's move to this development story that has attracted so much commentary, the issue of the Delta Force attack in Kumasi. The Association of Judges and Magistrates say members are afraid for their lives and want adequate security at courts. This follows the freeing of 13 members of the Delta Force after a Kumasi Circuit Court remanded them in prison custody.
At a joint press briefing in Accra by the Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana and the Association of Judges and Magistrates Ghana, the judges noted the incident on Thursday has brought to light the threat they face each day with inadequate security at the various courts in the country. The judges called for the immediate arrest and prosecution of all the people involved in the attack.
A group of persons can enter a courtroom and forcibly free persons who were a subject of criminal prosecution is clearly unacceptable, and we condemn such act unreservedly. We view this with concern. We have no doubt in our minds that the Ghanaian society will be with us in describing such an act as primitive, uncivilized, uncouth, primordial, and above all, criminal.
President of the Association of Judges and Magistrates, Justice Victor Ofoe, called on members, especially those in the Ashanti region, to remain calm.
We assure you that we are in discussions with the headship of the Judicial Service towards providing maximum security to all the courts.
Justice Victor Ofoe, who is also a Court of Appeal judge, directed all members who feel threatened to report to the regional police commander for appropriate steps to be taken.
We call on the government, particularly the police hierarchy, as a matter of urgency, to take all necessary steps to allay the worries, fears, and anxiety of all judges and magistrates in the region. Every court should be considered a flashpoint, since criminal trials have the potential of emitting violence.
Meanwhile, the Chief Justice and the Judicial Council, in a statement, unreservedly condemned the attack and called on the IGP and the Interior Minister to take immediate steps to provide maximum security at all times for the judge concerned, adding the incident should be investigated. Members of the Delta Force went on rampage in a Kumasi Circuit Court on Thursday, vandalizing some court property, as well as freeing 13 of their members who were facing trial for allegedly harassing the Ashanti Regional Security Coordinator. The 13 have subsequently turned themselves in.
Stay once more with this developing story. The National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, is asking the Ghana Police Service to prosecute members of the Delta Force who invaded and freed their colleagues who were appearing before court. The National President, Christian Adai-Poku, fears failure by the police to arrest members could trigger similar situations in other regions in the next few weeks.
NAGRAT was disturbed about the actions of members of the Delta Force. The group invaded a Kumasi Circuit Court and freed 13 suspects who were standing trial for causing mayhem. The association recalled the manhandling of a security coordinator in Kumasi and said such acts violate the laws of the land. The president of National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, Christian Adai-Poku, charged the police service to deal with the group.
In the first place, nobody forced them out. They themselves left. and that clearly showed their intention. So having come back doesn't mean that they have any good intention at all. So as a nation, we should make sure that the right thing is done so that we don't set bad precedents that will come to haunt us.
In a related development, NAGRAT pleaded with President Nana Akufo-Addo to deal with people engaged in Galamsey. The association lamented destruction of water bodies and disagreed with calls by some groups and individuals that government should provide alternative jobs before stopping Galamsey.
We cannot say that there should be alternative job for people who are destroying the country before they stop the destruction. The destruction must stop, whether there is an alternative for them or not. That is not to say the nation should not provide an alternative for them.
In another development, the association is asking GES to release promotion results of over 20,000 chief directors and teachers to reduce the simmering agitations on the education front.
Our problem is not the letters that are supposed to come out now. The first thing is release the results for everybody to know his fate. They have placed a lot of tens of thousands of teachers in anxiety. People are anxious to know what is going to happen, and it's just not fair.
Right. Let's stay on the Delta Force confusion there in Kumasi. David Agbe is the Executive Director of the Ghana Institute of Governance and Security. He just joined me on the phone lines. David, good evening and thanks so much for your time.
Yes, good evening, bye.
Right. So let's start from here. Every analyst who looks at this issue is suggesting that government is simply failing to deal with this Delta Force menace. Is that what you think, and how can government deal with it?
Yes, right. Thank you so much. I must say that this issue, this vigilante groups in the country, I must say that Dr. Kwesieni started the whole debate, and I joined him to discuss this matter extensively in this country as far as the vigilante groups are concerned. And I must say that politicians in this country do not really understand the security implications of these vigilante groups. So anytime that we talk about it, they think that it is intellectuals arguing, and arguing based on the fact that they've seen something in the books, and so they just want it to be implemented. And do not forget that politicians in this country, one way or the other, like I said, the clear understanding of security and its implications on a country, it's not something in their dictionary. They do believe that politics is just about, talking on radio and, making all kinds of accusations. But if they really understand the fact that a state and a nation needs to be well regulated and need to be more situated in a modern way of how we need to govern ourselves, some of these things would have been dealt with long ago. And so we are not surprised that some of these things are coming up. And these vigilante groups, the Delta Force and the Invisible Forces and other vigilante groups, we express concerns that we need to more like disband these groups long ago. And the police architecture also do believe that they are not posing a threat as much as some of us have been talking about. So they've been paying more like a lackadaisical attitude to whatever that we say.
David, are you, David?
Whilst it has come now, almost everybody is talking about it. But we need to find an antidote to it as to the best way of making sure that government, with all these security institutions, we have National Security Minister, we have Defense Minister, we have Interior Minister, we have Security, Coordinator, and all that. All these people, what are they doing?
Okay, David, are you suggesting, David, let me come in. David, hello, David. Sorry for cutting in. Sorry for cutting in rudely. Are you suggesting that with all these, National Security Minister, National Security Advisor, National Security Coordinator, government is still unable to fix this problem? Is that what you're suggesting?
Guys, are you not surprised that some of these people and these vigilante groups have been operating for so long a time that national security installations and national security officers are, it's more like they are not committed of making sure that we disband this group. And I was quite surprised that yesterday I heard that the national security minister was in parliament, and he says that he cannot identify these people. They are not traceable people. And so I was just laughing in my head that why are we in a country that the national security minister cannot be able to tell the nation that these people are posing a threat to a country, and so therefore we need to be able to deal with it. So I was just laughing that we are not serious as a country. Really, if we are very serious and we know the implications of these people, national security minister will not go to parliament empty-handed and be telling us that he cannot trace these people. And so it is about we understanding security and its implications on a nationhood and the sovereignty. How, I mean, I saw these news on BBC today, and my heart was just beating that. How could a country like Ghana? I mean, it is quite unfortunate that we are discussing this matter tonight on your big platform.
Okay, David, let's shift attention to what happened in Parliament just around this evening, where the Speaker of Parliament has taken his decision, warning Mr. Ayariga, asking him to once again apologize and warning him to go and sin no more. What do you make of the fact that Mr. Ayariga was once again asked to apologize and the Speaker warned him to go and sin no more? Does this reduces the perception of a corrupt parliament that we have in Ghana?
Right. I must say once again that our parliament, for long ago, that many, if I could say, prominent people have heard Honorable Agambabin talk about the fact that, parliament is more like endemic as far as corruption is concerned. I've listened to PC Apiofori, who also made that profound statement that during the sale of Vodafone, there was underhand dealings. And so when Honorable Ayariga made this, emphatic statement that they were bribed, and some of you called me, I was saying that I will be surprised if Parliamentary Select Committee will be more committed in terms of probing this matter. And I use the word that the report that will come will be more like a window dressing, where they will not be able to identify the issue, but they will be doing a cover-up.
So for you, David, so for you, what Parliament has done is a cover-up.
It is purely of a window dressing. They just want to prove a point that Parliament is not corrupt. None of them is doing anything wrong. But if you understand how Parliament really works and the politics of this country, they can tell ordinary people who do not understand politics, but some of us that we understand politics very well, it is not something that we will say that it didn't happen or it happened. But what I must say is that Parliament can do all kinds of things and write good English, 50 pages report, but we do believe that certain things are not being done properly. And so the Professor Michael Quay and parliamentarians need to sit up and be able to re-examine themselves, that everybody is watching the attitude and the behavior and the conduct of parliamentarians. So when they are, conducting themselves or they are doing any, coming out with any report, they need to be more mindful of the fact that the image that they are sending is not good for, our country.
David, I am grateful for your time tonight. David Agbe is the Executive Director of Ghana Institute of Governance and Security. They're talking to me. This is News at 10. You're watching us on TV3. And those of you who are listening to us on 3FM 92.7, we're grateful that you stayed there. Our social media platforms, News on TV3, quite activated. Go there and post your comment. Let's step on the brakes for now. When we come back, we'll tell you what the NDC is talking about as far as what's happening in Kumasi. The Delta Force confusion is concerned. Stay with us. We're back.
de oyade nyina yie wɔ ne bremu no enenso waka ne ho ntam ese wo breni se ne ato chima wa brabo ni mu obia no obesesa enu nti na cooperative fire ministry ede nafua miensa mu asi wo eye crusade kese pa ya central edaso no ene Jesus the Lamb of God wo fa central if Yohane etredi kan nyimu aduasansia dwumadie baso ewo tema mantedin park a ene sports stadium no edi ntwanyim ewo April bosome no ne de to so edumienu aye wukrada ede kopem ne de to so edunan a eye efiada akasafo akukuda manyame ngosra wo nso me wato nsa from to mekasa wo dwumadie ase.
God's power to heal, to deliver. I invite you and God will bless you.
Jesus the missionary Messiah is alive.
Nyankopon enshraw ese wo tu anamo.
When the news breaks, reporters and anchors broadcast it. Analysts will talk about the impact of this on society. But current affairs will set the agenda for policymakers to implement it. This.
See the finish! Being on top of the news has never been easy. Visit us at www.3news.com for all your reliable news. 3 News, news at your fingertips. Everything you need to know. Captivating. Reliable.
President Mahama, who addressed a Debar of chiefs and people of
credible and breaking news, all at your fingertips.
Who's found Asamoah Gyan? See the finish!
Being on top of the news has never been easy. Visit us at www.3news.com for all your reliable news. 3 News, news at your fingertips. Everything you need to know. Captivating. Reliable.
President Mahama, who addressed a Debar of chiefs and people of
credible and breaking news.
Thanks so much for staying there, listeners, on 3FM 92.7. Our viewers on TV3. Let's go back to the Delta Force issue. The National Democratic Congress, the NDC, has condemned the attack on the circuit court in Kumasi by a group called the Delta Force. In a statement signed by the General Secretary, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, described the action of the group as unfair to Ghana's democratic credentials. The NDC is therefore calling on the President to act swiftly and bring the perpetrators to book. And of course, they're asking the President, giving the President some days to deal with the issue or get the NDC into an action to ensure the group Delta Force is dealt with. Now let's stay on the groups of these vigilantism or gangs who are running around causing havoc across the country. Let's speak to the national president of UTAC, Dr. Harry Agbanu. He's just joined me on the phone line. Dr. Agbanu, grateful for your time tonight. But let's start from here. These gangs or vigilantes, as you want to call them, is this a new phenomenon in our politics? And how can we stop it?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. It is a very unfortunate development. I'm sure before independence and during the independence struggle, a number of political parties had members who form some form of security to protect their interests in the political space. But over the years, Ghana has, been able to deal with these divisive tendencies. And for a long time, we've had national institutions legitimately created to take care of our security. Unfortunately, over the past few years, political parties have decided again to recruit their own members to provide security. And for me and for UTAC, it is an assault on the civility, the integrity of our country as a whole.
I see. Now, if it is an assault, then how do we deal with it?
It takes political will. I am more than convinced that our security forces are capable of dealing with these vigilante groups. What is not happening is the political will to be able to deal with these people once and for all. When the NDC was in power, we were hearing of these groups. And now the MPP is in power, and it's becoming even worse. I believe that if government is determined to crush these people once and for all, that can be done. And I think that civil society groups must rise against the impunity that this country is being subjected to in the hands of these illegitimate groups calling themselves vigilante.
Are you suggesting that governments lend support to these groups? That is why they are able to operate and our security agencies are unable to deal with them?
There is no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. That these groups are affiliated to political parties. And there is no way these political parties can claim that they don't know who funds these groups. I am sure they are being funded by the political parties. And that if not the political parties as a whole, individual members of these parties are funding them. And so government appears to be incapacitated or are not interested in dealing with the issue. And what is going to happen very soon is that we'll see these people throwing bombs and trying to destroy this country if we look on unconcerned.
I see. If you say governments are supporting these groups, in the case of the Delta Force, we've had the president come out to say that these groups must be dealt with. They should put an end to what they're doing. He's asked the police service to go after them. And yet, we find the same group doing the same thing.
So the question is, are we saying that Ghanaian, security services cannot deal with these people? Is that what we are saying? That they are so incapacitated they cannot deal with this group of people who are taking this country for a ride? I don't believe that. It is because there is no political will on the part of government to be able to deal with these people. If we are here in Ghana and our own Ghanaians are doing this to one another and we cannot do anything about it, what about if we are invaded by other people? It means that we don't have any efficient government to protect us as a country.
Dr. Agbanu, I'm grateful for your time tonight. Dr. Harry Agbanu is the national president of the University Teachers Association of Ghana, talking to me there on the vigilantes or groups, whichever way you want to call them. We're grateful that you stay there and listen to us on 3FM 92.7. If you watched us on TV3, our viewers across the country and beyond, we're so grateful for your time tonight. Of course, to my technical guys in here, Nana Boaje Eko Johnson, my cameraman, Theophilus Clotte, and Bernard Hansi, my soundman. Of course, Ben Mensah, John Flagbo, and Albert Mensah did great work behind the scenes. My show director, Richard Bruce Lamptey. The whole show was put together by Daniel Opoku. My name is Bright Nanavo. Have a great night, but stay right here on TV3. Good night.